Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Today, I wanted to talk about how I cope with my mental health issues. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but this is just my personal experience, and I thought it'd be helpful to share with you guys and be a point of reference if you're doing some of these things that are healthy or if you're doing some of these things that aren't so healthy. Maybe some things that you could do that you didn't think of, stuff like that. So let's get into it. So I kind of want to go in order from least aware, like stuff that you do that you're not really aware is a reaction to things that you're dealing with internally or maybe not addressing internally, and then kind of slowly go towards, professional help and that kind of stuff. And again, this is just my personal experience. So this is only things that I've done, I've dealt with. So it might be different for you. Just wanted to put that out there again. So, one of the earliest signs I think of me kind of fighting against my mind and dealing with mental illness is essentially escapism. Like early on, it was video games, just spending hours and hours every day playing video games. It was a really good way for me to not live in my life. Like I was able to kind of get out of my current situation, even if it's just mentally. And I think I started doing that at an early age without realizing what it was for, if that makes sense. Like I loved video games. I still love video games, play them all the time. But now I'm more aware of how I use them as a form of escapism when I'm not doing the best. And I think in a lot of instances, this is great because it's not something that's really damaging you aside from just taking your time, but it's also something that you can legitimately enjoy doing and it be an activity that keeps you distracted. I think that's actually a good thing, especially if you have no other options really at the time or you're not really sure what to do. Like just doing something that engages your mind and forces you to focus on something else that's not harmful to yourself or others is a really great way to start. But that can also lead to never actually dealing with your problems. So don't take it as that. This is a temporary thing for when you need it, not a permanent solution. I think another one that a lot of people would say is exercising. I'm sure that's helpful. I personally have never really used that. It definitely has helped me in the past, but it's not something that I consistently use to escape and to kind of go against my mental issues. So I don't want to comment on that too much. But yeah, of course, most people know that exercising is a really good way to, get your endorphins going and kind of get yourself out of whatever headspace you're in. And I think another form of escapism a lot of people will probably think of right away is using drugs. And this is, again, something that I have done a bit. I pretty much only smoke weed now and do like THC edibles, CBD edibles, stuff like that. I do live in a legal state, so that makes it a little bit easier. But I've never really been into any other drugs. I don't drink at all. I've definitely dabbled with certain things, but weed has always been the thing that I use to kind of get me through my day. And I've been smoking weed pretty much every day since I was like 16, 17 years old. I've taken breaks here and there, but not for very long. And it's helped me a lot. It's definitely something that I wish I wasn't so dependent on and something I wish I could enjoy more casually and more recreationally. But I do feel like to an extent it is medicine for me because I don't take any prescription medicines regularly, which we'll get into that later. And honestly, I could get into, I could make a whole other video about weed, which I probably will do at some point. But yeah, that's definitely the drug that I've clung to that has helped me the most as a form of escapism and as a way to just kind of deal with my emotions. Speaking of emotions, something that I dealt with personally, still deal with on occasion, and I think this is something that people don't always consider consciously is actually a way for them to cope with their inner turmoil is just anger and lashing out at people and things along those lines like rage. That is a way that people use their emotions to let out something in some way to get some sort of relief, if that makes sense. And I think it makes sense if you think about it, but I don't think it's something that people consciously think about on a daily basis. And I know I personally have anger issues and rage issues that I had to work through in therapy for years. Like I would just snap on people that I loved and like, be destructive and break things. And, I did that when I was a teenager, but I thought I would grow out of it as an adult. And there was times where I still did stuff, like just like, being destructive and angry and rageful. And that's not healthy at all, because one little mistake can happen that can ruin your whole life if you're not aware. And I know for me, like, I would just see red and almost black out, and it's a really scary feeling. And if that's something that you're dealing with, that's definitely something that's a huge red flag to get professional help, because you're going to need to rewire your brain a little bit. Like everybody has their own issues and their brain functions differently, but that's going to require some serious unpacking and work and rewiring in order to get past that. So, yeah, that's a way that I've coped with my mental issues, and I am glad that I don't use that anymore, consciously or unconsciously. And when I started to really become more aware of this, I started to spend even more time alone, because I really felt like I just needed to be with myself and work through things so that I wouldn't be inflicting harm on other people, or, just not really knowing how to move in social situations because I was so unsettled internally. So for anyone who watches my channel, you guys already know that I like to spend a lot of time by myself. I'm a very introverted person. I'm a loner type person, but this was a different level. This was literally like active time spent alone, whether it wasn't always actively in therapy, but working on stuff every day pretty much. It's necessary. It was for me, at least. So yeah, spending a lot of time alone is very helpful for you to force yourself to think about what's going on in your mind. And that's very scary for some people, and I understand, but if something is affecting your life every single day in a negative way, eventually you're going to have to address it, or you're going to just keep developing unhealthy coping mechanisms, which are only going to harm you and the people around you. So eventually it does get to a point where I believe professional help is required. Whether it's talk therapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy. I know for me, I went through dialectical behavioral therapy specifically. I'll make another video about that in the future. Possibly needing medication. And medication is something that I was very against for a while. And I still have never consistently taken like a pharmaceutical medication for any like mental illness things. But I think about it like this. Say you injure your ankle, you break your ankle, and you're in a cast, you can't walk for like 2 months, whatever, and you have like a constant pain from your injury. They're going to prescribe you painkillers, but that doesn't mean that you're going to take those painkillers forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take them for when you need them, and then when you don't need them anymore, you stop taking them. And that's how I see, certain prescribed medications for mental illness problems, is you really only need to take them for when you need them. And a lot of these drugs can train your mind to know what it feels like to feel better in certain ways. And I'm being very vague because, again, I haven't taken anything for a long period of time myself, but I know a lot of people that have, and it's helped them a lot. So I try to be open-minded and not judge people, because I know like there's certain times where you really need that to get through your day and to help you get to the next place in your mental development. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. I'm going to dive into some of these more specifically in future videos, like I said. But I really just wanted to get sort of an overarching view of how I have personally coped with my different mental problems that I've experienced throughout my life. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful in some way. If you like this one, check out some other ones on my channel. I talk a lot about these type of things, and I make a new video and put it out every Sunday. So if you like this one, you can come back next week for a new one. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Oh, wait, real quick. I had this idea that I wanted to try for this video. So some of you guys might know that I make music. And I thought it'd be a cool idea to do a little bit of outro music for my videos and kind of make it different every time. Here's a little bit of respite before your next video. Hope you guys enjoy.